everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm Elaine Christian with the City of West Palm Beach Office of Sustainability, and we have Roya Edwards with us today, who is a transportation demand professional, or transportation demand management professional. If you have any questions during the presentation, please drop them in the chat box and we'll have Q&A at the end. Keep in mind that if you like today's program, we have many more scheduled. You can always visit wpb.org/green to view our upcoming programs. I will also be sending out a follow-up email after today's presentation, which will include the recording in case you'd like to share it or watch it again. And that email will also include important links and resources mentioned today. And now let's transition to Roya to talk sustainable transportation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elaine. I'm just gonna, okay. So yeah, thank you so much. I really am delighted to be here and excited to share all of West Palm Beach's current sustainable transportation options. But before I get into that, I just want to quickly talk about West Palm Beach's transportation management initiative. And essentially what in short, the TMI is a partnership between the City of West Palm Beach and then also South Florida Commuter Services, which is FDOT's Commuter Assistance Program. And the TMI is all about implementing different transportation demand management strategies in the downtown and also throughout the greater West Palm Beach area. To give a really quick background on what TDM is and focuses on is that it understands basically how people make their transportation decisions and then also help people use the actual transportation infrastructure that's in place for using transit, ride sharing, walking, biking, and using other forms of transportation. It's and the main purpose essentially is to reduce vehicle miles traveled and encourage a general mode shift. So we want to get people to try to get out of their cars and potentially use another mode of transportation to make that shift. And as we know, the less cars on the road definitely means a greener West Palm Beach. And also, if anybody's interested in learning a little bit more about the TMI and the programs in place and the different transportation options in West Palm Beach that I'm going to be talking a little bit about today, you can go to WPB.org and then click our city and then select the transportation services option, and that will give you a really comprehensive rundown of what the TMI is and then the different modes and how they can be utilized in the city. Okay, so before I get into more detail about each mode, let's talk about why is West Palm Beach's transportation sustainable? And I want to give everybody a little bit of perspective and of the carbon emissions associated with each mode. And carbon dioxide actually makes up about 95% of all transportation related greenhouse gas emissions. And it is basically the main offender regarding transportation. And this chart right over here actually shows the estimated average pounds of carbon emitted per passenger mile. So as you can see, of course, single occupancy vehicles produce the most at approximately and almost 1 pound of CO2 per mile. And if you can, put that in perspective and actually think that since CO2 is a gas, it is a little bit mind-boggling to think that every mile a car emits almost 1 pound of CO2. And the typical passenger vehicle actually emits about 4.6 metric tons of carbon dioxide every year, and that's just one vehicle. So you can imagine altogether that's a lot of pollution, that is emitted. Luckily, West Palm Beach does have some other options for our environmentally friendly friends out there to use. And the amounts of CO2 in this chart are actually the national averages. But all the modes you see at the bottom of the chart, West Palm Beach does offer. And you can choose from. So next we have the city bus, which is a little bit less than 1 pound, and then commuter rail, then carpooling and van pooling. Because you're dividing up the number of passengers per vehicle, it's actually about only 1/3 or 1/4 of what a single occupancy vehicle would have been. And of course, I had to put walking and biking up there because honestly, you can't get much more sustainable than that, because both of those modes actually emit zero carbon emissions. So, you're not producing any type of emission when you use these modes. Okay, so first up is our commuter train options. So West Palm Beach not only has one, but actually has 3 different commuter rail options to choose from. And the first up is Tri-Rail. And Tri-Rail is the regional passenger train system that provides service from Miami International Airport to Mangonia Park in Palm Beach County. Within the Tri-Rail area, it actually connects 18 different locations in 16 cities, making it the most connected form of passenger rail in South Florida. The West Palm Beach station is actually located at the West Palm Beach Intermodal Center, which is extremely close to the downtown and connects to so many other modes of transportation, which really give people that last mile option once they arrive at the Intermodal Center off of the Tri-Rail. And also some amenities that the Tri-Rail offers is bike storage on every train, and there's plenty of it, and usually it's always full because a lot of people love to use the bike as the last mile. There's free Wi-Fi, and there's also frequent headways during peak hours, so that everybody makes sure that they get to work on time. And I also want to mention that Tri-Rail actually also offers an employee discount program to those employed with a business that's registered, and actually offers discounted train tickets and passes to those employees. So currently there are over 2,600 businesses that are registered with this employee discount program. And so if you want to check out Tri-Rail and start commuting to work using it, I would actually go and check out to make sure to see if your business could be registered, because then you would get a discounted pass. But overall, it's definitely one of the most connected and affordable forms of mass transit in Florida and West Palm Beach. Next up is Brightline. So Brightline is actually the newest addition to West Palm Beach's mass transit system, and they began service in early 2018. Brightline is the privately owned premium commuter rail service, which has stations in West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and then also Miami. So they connect all of the 3 major downtowns in South Florida, and connect to hundreds of employment hubs and also employment opportunities. And Brightline has a pretty impressive station right here in the heart of downtown. It's along Quadrille Boulevard between Datura and Avernia Street. And the station actually, it reminds me a little bit of like an airport. It includes like a little grab-and-go restaurant. It also has a gift shop and a bar as well. So it makes it a really fun option if you're going out on a weekend for leisure activities. But I do know a lot of people also use it for work commuting. But yeah, the station is right in the heart of downtown, so it has an excellent walk shed to all of the downtown's amenities. I do have to say, unfortunately, right now, the Brightline is not currently operational because of COVID-19, but service could restart in late 2021. Next is Amtrak, and Amtrak is the 3rd commuter rail service in West Palm, and it actually services the entire United States. So it's a national commuter and passenger rail throughout the nation. And Amtrak only has a few stations in Florida, but luckily West Palm has one with a ticketing office at the Intermodal Center as well. And Amtrak is actually pretty excellent for long trips and offers connections to North Florida, West Florida, and all across the United States. It's much more sustainable than a traditional road trip, and it's less expensive, and then you can avoid driving fatigue, and you still get a great view because there's plenty of windows. All right, now we're moving on to buses and trolleys. So we still have plenty of options to choose from. And similar to the rail, we have three. So Palm Tran, first up, is the Palm Beach County's commuter bus service, and it services the entire county. So stops are actually distributed throughout the entire city, and not just the downtown. But the main station and stop location is actually the intermodal center. So that still offers some more last mile connections. Once you get to the intermodal center from another mode, such as Tri-Rail, it offers that a great last mile connection. And actually, some interesting news. In mid-2019, Palm Tran actually began experimenting with electric buses. So charging stations, which is a huge deal when it comes to sustainability and lowering any kind of emissions, because they are much more environmentally friendly than a traditional gas-powered bus. But with the electric buses, any emissions are reduced dramatically, and they are actually looking to gradually convert their fleet to primarily electric over the next 5 years. West Palm Beach also has a free trolley service, which, if you're familiar with Palm, you probably already know. And it's such a great service that it covers the entire downtown, including Rosemary Square, Northwood Village, the Palm Beach Outlet Malls, and of course the Intermodal Center, offering even more last mile connections. There are two different routes. So there is a yellow line and then also a green line. And both of them stop at the Intermodal Center, which offers a super convenient and connected last mile option to the rest of the downtown. The trolleys have actually 10-minute headways too, and they have designated stops throughout the downtown to kind of ensure efficiency and make sure everybody is getting to their destination, but also having a nice time doing so. And they also operate 7 days a week and have they operate all throughout the day. So even if you're working a late shift and you need to grab the trolley, you can do so, or on your lunch break. I really like that it operates throughout a great time throughout the day and not just at the peak hour. But additionally, unfortunately, due to COVID, also the trolleys are not operational at this time, and service has been suspended until further notice. But they will be up and running pretty soon. And third, we have Greyhound, and Greyhound also operates out of the Intermodal Center, which the Intermodal Center, pretty much everything I've mentioned so far besides Brightline operates out of the Intermodal Center, which is like the transportation hub in West Palm. But Greyhound is a private coach bus, and it's another national and cross-state transportation option out of West Palm. So if you're in West Palm and you want to travel, you're not necessarily just limited to plane travel or road trips. There are other options and sustainable options you can use for your travel needs. Actually, so based on their website, if you take Greyhound, you actually, reduce your carbon emissions by about 85% as opposed to driving alone. And when you're thinking about, cross-state travel and long distances, that's pretty huge. But overall, Greyhound is an extremely affordable and sustainable travel option. And you can also save money and the planet at the same time by doing so. All right, so carpooling and vanpooling are a couple more options, but I feel like they're the modes that are not talked about as often. But when implemented on a large scale, they can drastically reduce the numbers of vehicles on the road, which thus translates to better air quality for everybody because of the reduced carbon emissions. Because the carbon emissions actually are cut in half once you have multiple passengers in a car. And, talking a little bit about Vanpool, Vanpool is a really great resource to get started if you're interested in carpooling. Mainly because it's a little bit more formal and regulated because it is operated by Enterprise and rental cars, and through Enterprise, a group of 4 more people can receive an insured van. So it's not somebody, using their personal vehicle and feeling potentially, liable or anything if they have passengers in their car. But the van is owned and operated through Enterprise. And, it could be, used for carpooling to work on a regular basis, or any kind of needs people would like to use carpooling for. So on average, people can save actually up to 80% with their monthly transportation costs with Vanpool, which is, to me, humongous, because you really are mainly paying for gas and a couple other little maintenance things, and split that between 4 people, and you're really cutting down on your monthly savings on transportation. So it's kind of a win-win. So you're helping the environment, but also you're saving a ton of money while doing so. Another interesting thing is that van pools that begin or end in the Tri-County area. So any van pool that begins in Palm Beach County, Broward County, and also Miami-Dade County is subsidized 50%. So if you have a van pool that begins and ends in one of those counties, your costs are cut in half even more. So it really is like an excellent option. And also in West Palm Beach, I believe the VA is a huge advocate of Vanpool, and I believe they have a fleet of over 40 vans that they utilize. So especially already in West Palm, people are really getting involved with Vanpool and think it's a great and reliable transportation option that takes cars off the road and helps the environment. In addition to Vanpool, there's also Waze Carpool and Ride Amigos, which are a couple carpool matching apps and providers that what they basically do is that once you register with them, they can help you match with a carpool partner, because that can be a little bit tough to get started. So let's say you want to get involved with carpooling, but none of your coworkers live by you and you're not sure how to find a carpool partner. If you download Ride Amigos or Waze, they can actually help you find a carpool partner. And because all of the carpools are regulated through the app, it's definitely like a reliable and safe way to go about that. And what I like about these two is that they are an extremely affordable alternative to ride sharing companies like Uber and Lyft. So, even if it's just going, downtown to a restaurant, and your neighbors are also heading out for the evening, instead of getting an Uber together, you could use Waze Carpool, and it essentially accomplish the same thing for a fraction of the cost. So these are definitely 2 modes that I don't think are talked about as often, but we carpool all the time and don't even realize we're kind of doing it. But the more it becomes like an intentional choice for the environment, and also to reduce vehicles miles traveled, we're going to definitely see those positive results, especially in West Palm. And I know during COVID, we're not really encouraging people to be in small spaces together, but of course, if you do choose to carpool, definitely stay safe and wear a mask when social distancing is not available. Okay, so now we're going to get into the ultimate forms of sustainable transportation, which is walking, biking, and electric scooters. Here I actually have a map of the downtown from West Palm Beach's mobility plan. And as you can see, based on the legend, basically every sidewalk has at least one or both sidewalks. Every road has either one sidewalks on either one side of the road or both sides of the road throughout the entire downtown, making it an extremely walkable environment to be in. Especially from the intermodal station and the Bright Line station. I myself have made that walk countless times, and I'll be honest, it's few and far between that I've genuinely felt unsafe, like while walking, as opposed, like in terms of like vehicles speeding past me or me not being able to cross the street, especially down Clematis Street. The city, recently underwent a huge resurfacing project and resurfaced all of Clematis Street. So now the road and the shared use paths on either side are all curbless. And of course, they're all protected by bollards, but that really, encourages the vehicles to slow down because they feel they need to be a little bit more careful since there's no curbs to, keep them within the road essentially. So it's been a really positive thing for bicyclists and pedestrians. And I absolutely love walking down that street, and it does offer a direct connection from the intermodal center. So that's a huge plus. Okay, so the other zero emissions mode is biking, which West Palm Beach definitely prides itself on of having some really awesome bike infrastructure and all throughout the downtown. As you can see in this picture, there are these little circle bike racks that are for the public to use. So of course, if you're riding your bike through the downtown, you don't have to worry about not finding a place to lock it up because these racks are everywhere and they're always available. So that's definitely a plus to encourage people to bike. This graphic I have is from the the Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency's interactive bike and ped map. This map in particular shows all of the 10-foot shared use paths within the downtown and in West Palm. As you can see, there are quite a few compared to other cities, which I think is a huge plus because a 10-foot shared use path allows for both bicyclists and pedestrians to share and enjoy, as opposed to the traditional 5-foot sidewalk, which is really only meant for pedestrians. And other forms of non, and of course these shared use paths are for other forms of non-motorized transportation as well. I really like how West Palm definitely has always taken biking very seriously and has created a downtown where it truly is comfortable to bike and walk. Coming from somebody who has done so multiple times, even when I visit, my friends that live downtown, we always choose to walk to our destination as opposed to, drive because, we don't necessarily want to try to find parking, and the infrastructure is in a place for us to do so. But now if we don't have our bikes or we don't want to walk, now we actually can use rental scooters, which are the newest addition to the family of alternative modes in West Palm Beach. And they are really a quick and convenient way to navigate downtown. If you don't have a bike or you want to get to your destination a little bit faster than walking. And I think it's a huge plus. However, if you haven't ridden them before, they are a little tricky to get used to. So I would just caution everybody to definitely wear a helmet and, do a few slow practice runs before you start zipping around. But the good thing is that I read online that helmets are available if you request one, I believe through the app. So even if you don't have one, you can still use one. And of course, they're all sanitized. All the equipment is sanitized daily. Helmets are sanitized. All the scooters are sanitized throughout the day and each evening once they are put on to charge. But it's a super quick way to jump on and zoom around downtown. I have used them before in Fort Lauderdale, and they're definitely pretty fun. So I'm happy that they're a new addition to the downtown. But so that actually wraps up my presentation about the different alternative modes in West Palm Beach. And actually, I would now like to hand off the presentation to Alex Esposito, who will be talking about Circuit. And Alex, since I'm screen sharing, if you'd like to just give me a cue and a heads up when to go to the next slide, I'd be more than happy to do so.
Great, thank you, Roya. I'm Alex, I'm here with Circuit, and we're a last mile electric shuttle option. And we do have cars in West Palm Beach, so you might have seen them going around. Next slide here. Oh, I don't know if I can do it. Oh, I can. Thank you. Yeah, so at Circuit, it really aligns with everything here. And Roya, thank you so much for sharing all of the different modes of transportation. What a lot of people don't realize is that traffic today is worse than it's ever been before, and it's bad for the environment, it's bad for productivity, the economy. And what's amazing is, as Roya mentioned, the biggest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions is transportation. And about 70% of greenhouse gas emissions come from cities. So we're hyper focused on reducing single occupancy vehicles in cities. Specifically, we're focused on the last mile problem. So I love all of the options that Roya shared. And our service is really that connector piece, hence the name Circuit. So our goal is to focus on those short trips, getting people to the Bright Line, to the Tri-Rail, to distant parking lots. So an easy to use, eco-friendly electric way to get around downtown. So where we're a little bit different than your typical Lyft or Uber services, we like to think that we combine the bells and whistles and user experience that people have grown to like about those services with the on-demand app. But we do it a little bit more responsibly. So we're very focused on short trips. Our cars are 100% electric. The rides are totally free. We W-2 pay and train all of our drivers. So they're local employees. You'll see a lot of familiar faces if you use the service regularly. And we do pool our riders. So we've had to make some modifications to the pooling recently, but that's a key component to reducing emissions and reducing congestion is getting people to ride together. The next one here. So I think there was another slide, but recently, as far as safety goes, so we have put partitions between the rows. We encourage the riders to open up their windows and keep the open air nature of the vehicles. Although drivers are in PPE, we are requiring that our riders are in PPE, and then we're also cleaning the vehicles several times daily. So in West Palm, the service is a little smaller than some other areas where we work with our city partners, but we do have some cars in the area that are funded by advertising partners. So you might have seen these going around. They're available 11:30 to 8 p.m. The coverage area is available there, again, fully on demand. And you can access the cars by either flagging them down or by downloading our app. So searching Ride Circuit in either the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, and you're on your way. And that's pretty, oh, okay, so they went in order, but yeah, this was just a little chart I wanted to share about some of the safety benefits. So we've limited pooling so that no two parties aren't in their own, or in the same rows. And so everyone gets their own doors, which is also, we've heard from our riders, been something they like about the service, where they feel more separated than other forms. And so if safety is a concern, it's a concern of ours as well. And so we're doing everything we can to reduce risks.
Well, thank you so much, Alex. And I see we have a comment about taking something similar in another city and how fun it was. And I can definitely agree. It's a great way to get around, especially in the downtown area. And if you guys have any questions for Roya or for Alex, please drop them here in the chat and we'll discuss. I did want to ask you though, Roya, I know there's a lot of mention about the intermodal center. Can you just if people don't know about like where that is, can you just kind of tell them? Maybe you have a better
Yeah.
explanation than I would.
So I'm just going to flip back through my presentation really quick and go back to the pedestrian map. Oh, actually, I think okay, well, it's okay. It's actually along, I'm actually going to stop sharing and reshare because I feel like it'll be a little better if I explain it with a map.
Yeah, because I feel like the intermodal center is so important, so people may be interested in knowing exactly where it is.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Okay, so actually, yeah, I pointed it out too.
Oh.
I forgot I did that. But yeah, so this right here is the Brightline station to give some context. And then this is the Tri-Rail station, which has kind of been you know, dubbed the intermodal center and has all these you know, excellent modes. So I believe this entire stretch right here is, I think, about maybe 2 miles. So, you know, you have about maybe a little bit less, but you have about 1 mile to the middle of downtown and then another 1 mile to the waterfront and Flagler.
And the other transit station that's shown on there, is that Brightline?
Yeah, this other, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but this stop,
Yeah.
this little symbol right here, yeah, that's the Brightline station.
Awesome. So you can
And,
see,
and
that's a really good map to show you where both stations are located.
yeah, the mobility plan that was done a few years ago in 2018 has this is chock full of excellent information. Anything you ever wanted to know about transportation in West Palm. I mean, of course, now a few years later, there have definitely been some improvements, but yeah, it's open to the public. It's online. Just search it. Anything you would ever want to know about. Not only West Palm Beach's transportation amenities, but then also some areas where there's some need, and then also places where citizens have expressed that they would you know, like to see improvements and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, this is where that map is from. But I believe this, I think either this road or this road, I think it's this one right here, is Clematis Street, which connects directly to the intermodal center, and it's like an extremely walkable street. So, and recently too, I noticed is that the connection from the intermodal center, once you cross this road, Tamarind right here, the city recently put in a pedestrian flashing beacon, and then also a new painted crosswalk with a protected median in the middle. So that was an excellent improvement. And so now cars are much more aware of pedestrians crossing the street from the intermodal center over to Clematis to get into the heart of downtown. So I recently noticed that, and that was awesome.
Yes, that was an improvement. And also, I mean, Clematis in general too has become a lot more walkable as well.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
I see a question
Yeah,
in here. Do you plan on working together with an organization to bring and or test private electric vehicles in the city? I'm not quite sure what you would mean by private electric vehicles. We are increasing our charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. I'm not quite sure. Roya, do you have anything to contribute to that?
Some of the electric, like I know there's some electric microtransit, you know, a little similar to what Circuit is doing, but I do know that they weren't electric, but I do know the city used to have Zipcar, which was like the car share. So I think they probably mean like as far as like a last mile like shuttle.
I'm not really
So I'm not sure if it's.
So we actually have worked with Tesla to install additional chargers in our parking garages for private vehicles. So
Okay.
we have worked with Tesla. I'm just trying to figure out, because I mean, anyone is allowed to bring their private electric vehicle into the city, but we have worked with Tesla to install more charging infrastructure in our parking garages. But yeah, I think that's most
I
of
think
the.
that's a really, yeah, I think that's a really smart idea because a lot of the multifamily, housing and apartment buildings throughout the downtown, they may not have it. And of course, if you own an electric vehicle, you're going to have to, charge it consistently. So if you have the option to, occasionally charge your vehicle in a parking garage or have that option, that's really beneficial. Because I know some people have actually, not necessarily in West Palm specifically, but have expressed that concern. They're like, oh, I want a Tesla, but I live in this apartment building and there's no charging vehicle station, so I can't have one.
Yeah, we are really looking at how we can increase our charging infrastructure. And Linda, yes, we can totally continue that conversation offline. If you want to email us, our email is sustainability@wpb.org. And I'm going to share my screen real quick. And also, I see another question about Clear Lake multi-use trail. Probably another conversation that we can have off here. I don't know the exact date on that or where we are, to be honest, because I have not been personally working on that, but it is in the works. And yes, I will type the email address here. And just to share some of our other programs that we have going on, if it will move for me. There we go. We also have a tree giveaway for City of West Palm Beach residents and businesses. So this is something else that you can do to help cool off our city, make it more enjoyable for everyone. The more trees that you plant on your property can definitely help bring down the heat in our city overall. So as much as we can increase our tree canopy is fantastic. So our next tree giveaway is on March 6th. If you want to register, you need to fill out a tree application where you can actually pick out your trees and go to wpb.org/10ktrees. We have that online tree application and safe parking lot pickups for you. And for most of them are parking lot pickups. I think sometimes we're at the green market giving them away too. We also have a rain barrel giveaway too. So just something, if you are interested in trees, you may be interested in rain barrels. Our next giveaway is on April 3rd. For that. So you can go onto wpb.org/savewater and register to receive a free rain barrel. We do have a virtual workshop that you can watch, and then we have those safe pickups for you. Next Friday, we have a really awesome game day that we've put together. It's a nice Jeopardy game, so kind of test your sustainability and climate change knowledge and win prizes. So really excited for that. It's something to kind of change things up. We do have programs every Friday going on. So definitely, if you are interested in additional programs, visit our website, wpb.org/green. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at WPB Green as well. And again, I said you can always email us, sustainability@wpb.org. And let's see, I see some chats coming in. Let me just check those real quick. All right, yes, thank you, Roya. I see lots of thank yous. So thank you, Roya and Alex, for joining us today. I hope you all have enjoyed today's presentation, and hopefully you'll join us again in the future for another one. So thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great rest of your day.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Elaine, for having me on today to talk a little about West Palm's transportation. I had a great time. Thanks.
Of course.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.